Canadiens using Doc on Slavkovsky line for important reasons. Hello Habs, how are you? Welcome. Now I bring information that can cheer up fans, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like our video to strengthen the channel so you don't miss anything from our favorite team. Yuri Slavkovsky has been the most discussed player ever since the Montreal Canadiens opened their training camp this season. Though to be more accurate, Slavkovsky has dominated the discussion since the Canadiens selected him with the first overall pick at the 2022 NHL entry draft. Those who disliked the pick from the very get-go have only entrenched themselves in their original argument. The same can be said about those preaching patience. That's almost always how it goes when there are two clear and distinct sides debating a topic. In Slavkovsky's case, it has led to a discussion that has lacked any semblance of nuance, a much-needed aspect when discussing any type of sport, particularly hockey. Resetting the narrative. In a sense, both sides are right. It's safe to say that almost everyone agrees Slavkovsky's first year in the NHL did not amount to much in terms of long-term development. He dealt with injuries, a suspension, and inconsistent usage, which is enough to derail any rookie season. I'd also venture to say it's fair that some fans want to see more from a player who was chosen first overall. It was a very weak draft year, mind you, but the fact of the matter remains that when a team makes the first pick at the draft, fans will, rightfully, expect a high-impact player in the lineup the very next year. Consequently, we also have to remember the caveats that were attached to the pick, which, again, was made in a weak draft year. General Manager Kent Hughes clearly labeled Slavkovsky as a project. Now, that doesn't mean that fans cannot expect the project to provide some early returns, and that certainly has not been the case, but given that Slavkovsky is once again slated to be the youngest player in the lineup, the calls for patience do not ring hollow. However, for Slavkovsky to succeed, he will need to be put in a position to succeed by Canadiens management, which is yet to be the case. Some may argue that the responsibility to find Slavkovsky ice time falls square on head coach Martin St. Louis' shoulders, and there's something to be said about the fact that he received the lowest ice time among any big-name rookies in the Canadiens lineup over the last 2 decades. But it was also quite clear that Slavkovsky was not ready to play in the NHL last season. There were a few exceptions, but overall, his level of play did not merit an increase in ice time, and thus, St. Louis' tentative use of Slavkovsky is easily explained. With that in mind, the responsibility to find him an ideal situation is up to Hughes and Jeff Gorton. If the Montreal Canadiens cannot secure top 6 minutes for Slavkovsky on a line that produces encouraging underlying numbers, they should not hesitate to assign him to their AHL affiliate, the Laval Rocket. Slavkovsky needs minutes and it doesn't matter where gets them. Besides, if a first overall pick cannot produce encouraging results in the AHL, there are bigger issues at play than perception. A new hope. Fortunately, it's much too early to panic. When Slavkovsky was playing alongside Josh Anderson and Alex Newhook, it was quite clear that the line combination did not do him any favors. Being paired with two of the fastest players in the lineup is a good way to make a player like Slavkovsky look out of place. But something interesting happened the moment that Slavkovsky was used on a line with a center who excels in transition. We're dealing with a small sample size, but both games in which Slavkovsky played with Kirby Dach and Raphael Harvey-Pinard resulted in very strong underlying numbers. For the first time in a very long time, Slavkovsky enjoyed a significant advantage in shots and scoring chances while he was on the ice. It immediately led to an uptick in confidence, not to mention more high-danger scoring chances. It's much too early to proclaim the Canadiens have 2 solid lines, but if the Dach-Slavkovsky experiment continues to yield strong results, the entire Montreal Canadiens lineup will be better off. So fan, what do you think of this news? Do you agree or disagree? Share your opinion in the comments. Stay tuned because I'll be back at any moment with more news.